Yes, yes. What up, though? What's going on? We back. Guess who's back at the house? Dicey World. It's your boy, Big Dice. It's been a long time since we all got together. And that's my bad, guys. I had this great Easter edition podcast. I actually recorded it last week, Sunday, but we had some audio issues. So that may have been a sign from God because I'm not going to lie. I went ham, y'all. I went crazy. I'm talking about, I know the Dicey World show is primarily, sports, fashion, lifestyle, entertainment, but, I was talking about religion, Jesus, God, because, it's Easter, talking about, BRICS, Brazil, Russia, India, China, Saudi Arabia, the devaluing of the American dollar, the Tennessee protesters. I mean, we're talking about everything, Angel Reese, everything. But maybe it was a good thing that, that interview was canned. Maybe it was a sign from God. I don't know. That's just my Angie Martinez, Tupac, in the Vaults Lost Tape interview. But anyway, you know what today is, guys. If you're a hoop head in the sports world, it's NBA playoffs, the best time of the year. Playoffs. And to help me out, I got a special guest, an entrepreneur, an expert, savant in everything digital, creativity, arts, music, and sports too. Ex Hooper. My man, he used to play like Dwayne Wade, Chris Paul, and everything like that. But we gonna get into it. I'm gonna bring in my main man, Don Dyson, Double D, from the After School Special Podcast. Sheriff, them Dice boys back at it again. He joined us last summer to talk about the new media. But anyway, without further ado, I'm gonna bring him in right now. I think he's here. Let's see. Oh, is he? Is he here? Let's see. Oh, there he is.
You see me?
I see a backdrop that says After School Special Podcast. Turn on your video.
It is on. Oh
Really?
man, feel like an old man. Yeah, it's on. I don't know what's
Yeah.
going on.
Well, it's all good, man. I wish I had a picture of you then instead of like the little backdrop so we could at least see the picture. But it's all good though. What's up, man?
Dun 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 dun. Hell yeah! I'm super excited. How you doing?
Oh man, I'm great, man. I'm fair for it, Square. I appreciate you, man. Now, before we get into it, let's just remind the Dicey World audience, the four people listening, just who is Don Dyson, what he's doing right now, and really specifically the After School Special Podcast.
Yes, After School Special Podcast is a podcast where we talk about retro history from our childhood, things that we grew up watching, things that we loved as kids, or even our formative years, like 19, 20, stuff that like when we were in college, what we used to talk about and watch and listen to when we were going to school and in college and stuff that we wanted to be entertained by, and we make fun of it and sometimes we wax poetically about it, but that's the gist of the whole show.
That's lit. And when can we expect the podcast? Is like weekly, monthly, inconsistent, like the Dicey World show? Like when can we check it out?
Well, so far it's been inconsistent the last few weeks, but usually it's every Friday, exactly midnight Eastern time, but usually on
Mhm.
Fridays, yes, weekly.
And for those who don't know, so I have your tag up, man. For your Instagram After School Special Podcast. Is that how we can like check you out? Oh, device is not connected. Anyway, you can check out Diney at the After School Special Podcast Instagram. Oh, here he is. He's back on. And I think you can add them. You can find them that way. Yeah, man. I was just telling the people that we can find you on Instagram at After School Special Podcast. But is that the same title we can find there? Oh man, look
Oh,
at him.
live and in living color.
My man. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. But
I
now
was
we
figuring it out. That's what I was doing. You know,
as
that's
we
that's one of my superpowers on After School Special Podcast. I figured this.
in real time too. I like that. That's what life is all about, man. You figure it out and just keep the shit moving, man. You know. But yeah, I was telling the people, as you can see, your tag After School Special Podcast. Is that how we can find you? You know, on iHeart, what's it, Spotify, Apple Music and everything
Yes,
like that.
yes. Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Instagram After School Special Podcast, Twitter After School SPE3 on Twitter. We have a website After School Special Podcast.com. We're on YouTube. We're everywhere, baby. Thanks for the free plugs. Oh, I love Dicey's World. It's great.
Yeah, well, you always have citizenship in Dicey World. And lastly, though, what did you guys talk about in your most recent episode? Like to give the people a little taste. I know you kind of gave the overall description about nostalgia and so forth, but what did you guys talk about in your most recent episode?
Our most recent episode is about the Chappelle Show, the whole entire three turbulent seasons of the Chappelle Show, the history of it, the stuff that the skits in that show that changed everything for that, for the sketch comedy game and put Comedy Central on the map or put them back on the map. And we talked about that in length. We did a two-part episode. We did season one, we did season two, and we talked about the end of it, the Chappelle Show. But we also talk about the beginning of the Chappelle Show, how it came about. But yeah, we covered the Chappelle Show.
That's so dope, man. Like I equate, the ending of Dave Chappelle to like in a sports analogy, like the Last Dance. Even though it was more abrupt, at least the Last Dance, it was already pre-planned. You had time to embrace it and plan for it. But the Dave Chappelle ending, it just happened so abruptly. Now I forget. Did they finish two season and they were working on the third season, or they were working on the season two, and then that's when it cut off?
No, you had it right. They
Okay.
finished the second season, and before the second season, he already signed that $50 million contract. But that was to re-up him for two more seasons. So there was definitely supposed to be a season two. There
Mm-hmm.
were is definitely supposed to be a season three, but
Mm-hmm.
as we know, that got all squashed after season
Mm-hmm.
two, as he was during filming of season three. That's when things got out of hand, and that's when he left and went to, of
Mm-hmm.
course, South Africa. But yeah, no, he finished season two. He was in the process of
Mm-hmm.
filming season three.
I just remember. I'm sorry. Remember when everybody heard that he kind of like dropped the $50 million bag, and that's still a lot of money today. But if you just juxtapose that to most recently Kanye West with the whole Adidas and Gap deal, I mean, he lost what 1.5 billion in one day. So that made that 50 million that day Chappelle lost like look like peanuts almost.
Yeah, and Dave Chappelle famously made fun of that on his SNL monologue about Kanye losing his money. But
Hmm.
yeah, 50 million even today is still a lot of money. But the thing about it, when he came back and got that Netflix deal, it was reported that he made 60 million. So
Oh.
he got it back. And plus, of course, he still does stand up and he still
Hmm.
does movies and stuff like that. And he even has a podcast. But yeah,
Oh, nice.
he it took a long time to come
Hmm.
back into the public eye. But I think that's what he wanted. He wanted time off.
Speaking of time, I know your time is so precious. Once again, thank you for joining the Dicey World. And actually, you have a lot of real estate in Dicey World. Anybody whose last name is Dyson, this show is your show. You feel what I'm saying? So, nigga, rent is due. You down a couple months late, but you definitely have real estate in Dicey World, man. But without further ado, we've been 10 minutes in, man. We all know we brought you in to talk about NBA predictions and awards. So let's start with our NBA awards for the year. All right, I'm gonna name the candidates, and you tell me what you think, and I'll tell you, or you tell me who you think will win, any like commentary you have behind it, and I'll show you who I think will win. Okay, that sounds fair.
That sounds great.
All right, man. So the NBA started something new this year. They have the Clutch Player of the Year, and we have three candidates. We have Jimmy Butler from Miami, DeMar DeRozan from Chicago. Shout out to his daughter, Dr. Ow,
Oh, she's a
ow.
star. Yes.
MVP. And then lastly, we have De'Aaron Fox of Sacramento. So Jimmy Butler, DeMar DeRozan, De'Aaron Fox for Clutch Player of the Year. Who do you have and why?
Ooh, DeMar DeRozan, and then you said Darren Fox, and what was the other one?
Jimmy
Jimmy.
Butler. Mm-hmm.
Ooh, Heat Culture versus Light the Beam versus, and then you said and B, the process. Oh no, you said
but
Embiid, right?
no, I
No.
said Jimmy Butler, DeMar DeRozan, and De'Aaron
Oh,
Fox.
ooh, I'm going to take Jimmy Butler, and of course, I'm leaning on the old guy. Well, in retrospect, in the aspect of the NBA, he's old, but Jimmy Butler because we've seen him done it. We've seen him do it
Mm-hmm.
time and time after again, and
Mm-hmm.
you know the other two guys are a good story, and I know DeRozan has been in the league for a long time too, but Jimmy single-handedly did what LeBron did, which is take an
Mm-hmm.
inferior team to the finals. And nobody saw that coming. And even last year came within inches of going to another final. So I'm going to give it to Jimmy Butler. Do you agree with that, or are you going somewhere else with it?
I love that answer. And we were this close, man. I mean, that was going to be my pick too. And everything you said, Jimmy Butler manifested that last night in the playing game. I mean, he put the Miami Heat on his back and he
They
beat
just won't
Chicago.
die. That team won't die. They remind me of the Pistons, the going to work Pistons. They're the
Mm-hmm.
ugliest thing to watch. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
unless you're a fan of the team. But Jimmy Butler and those guys and Spoelstra, they just won't go away. So
Mm-hmm.
he's never going to get an MVP award. So I'm giving him the clutch award.
And that's
But
lit.
you said
And he's so clutch. Didn't mean to cut you off, man. He's showing us, like you said, historically. I think I'll give it to De'Aaron Fox though, man. De'Aaron Fox, nobody saw Sacramento like this year, like success. They just came out of nowhere. Um, they've been doing their thing. I've seen a lot of like game-winning shots, a couple buzzer beaters from De'Aaron Fox. They're in the third seed in the West. You know, historically, you know, the West was the more talented, the tougher conference. I think this year it's a little bit more even. You can even say that the East is stronger, but you know, Sacramento, they haven't even sniffed the playoffs in what 15, 16, 17 years, and they made that total transformation. And not only are they in the playoffs, but they have a first round home court advantage matchup. And they're like the third seed, man. And De'Aaron Fox, along with Sabonis, they've led that team to a lot of wins, but especially De'Aaron Fox in the clutch. So I got De'Aaron Fox.
a
All right,
hell of a
moving.
job to Mike Brown, by the
Oh,
way.
I say you jumping the gun. Well, I guess you answered my question because I was gonna say now the next award we have Coach of the Year, and the three candidates is the aforementioned Mike Brown from Sacramento. You just mentioned him. Mark Daigneault from OKC Thunder, and Joe Mazzulla, the Boston Celtics. Who do you have?
I have the Oklahoma Thunder coach. I think they did a wonderful job. Nobody saw them coming. When your first round pick, the first pick in the draft goes down, that was it. I thought they were going to
Mm-hmm.
be uh basically gunning for another first round pick like my Pistons, and the fact that they had a chance to go to the playoffs even though they made the play-in tournament. I hats off to them. I'm giving
Mm-hmm.
them that head coach the nod, and you can tell I can't say his name because I'm not going to even attempt. so so it's just like the video games is just unnamed head coach guy on OKC. Yeah, you win it, brother. Salute to you.
Right. That's funny. I mean, come on. Shaq can pronounce his name. Charles Barkley can't pronounce their name, and they getting 25 million a year, man. So don't
I
worry
think
about
they
it.
well, there you go. That money is soaking
Yeah.
their vocal cords to say it.
No, that's too funny. Now, I would have been with you again, man, if the OKC Thunder would have won last night. You know, they're playing and they could have moved on to the playoffs. I would have definitely had them in the playoffs for the reasons you just beautifully articulated. Nobody saw OKC coming, especially when that pick you said Chet Holmgren went down. I think it was the third pick. And speaking of the lottery picks, I think I read somewhere that the OKC Thunder they have 13 first round picks between now
Yes,
and 2027. I think including 3 this year and 4 next year. That's crazy, man. Um, yeah, SGA, he's lit. I like Lou Dort on the defense. Giddy, the Australian, he's got a lot of game. I like Giddy, man. Um,
despite that bad game, he just had to get into the try to get in the playoffs. He showed
mm-hmm,
me a lot. Like him and Chet
mm-hmm,
Holmgren together next
mm-hmm.
season,
Oh,
2024. Oh
oh.
man,
I just hope they don't get Wimbayana. I hope your Pistons, our Pistons. I hope we win the Wimby sweepstakes. But man, if OKC gets him, it's gonna be rough. But yeah, anyway. So because OKC did not make the playoffs, I ended up going with the brother Mike Brown, Coach of the Year, Sacramento. Like I said, about De'Aaron Fox. Nobody saw Sacramento, coming this year. Nobody had them on their radar. Had a hell of a team. Played in the same division as the LA Lakers, the Golden State Warriors. Man, and he did his thing. The Warriors did their thing. I'm sorry, the Kings did their thing. So I have him. All right, so let's go on to the sixth man of the year. The three candidates we have are Malcolm Brogdon from Boston, Bobby Portis from Milwaukee, and Emmanuel Quickly from the Knicks. So Brogdon, Boston, Portis, Milwaukee, and Quickly the Knicks. Real quick before you answer, I'm surprised they didn't have like Norman Powell from the Clippers on there. He was doing this thing this year. He held the Clippers down, when PG-13 went down. Kawhi Leonard was injured, so and Reggie Jackson got traded. So he took up the mantle of that scoring responsibility. But I guess because Russell Westbrook came and, Russell came off the bench a little while, they were sharing six-man duties. But, Russell's starting right now, so I don't get that. But anyway, Malcolm Brogdon from the Celtics, Bobby Portis, Milwaukee, and Emmanuel Quickly. Who do you have?
I got Bobby P. I think he is the engine that when he comes off the bench,
Mm-hmm.
he sustains the level of intensity for that team. Like I like the Powell mention too because for the Clippers, I don't really pay attention as much as the other teams. But as a team, I was kind of stunned at the fact that oh wow, how many players on that team were out for injury and they still sustained that level, and it was largely because of him. Because I know PG was down for a while too, but my pick is Bobby P because
Mm-hmm.
you got Middleton going down. You had all of these injuries, but I think without him, that team doesn't have a chance. And that's my six man of the year. What about you?
I mean, you basically took every word from my mouth, so I
And I
really can't.
wanted him. I wanted my Pistons to get him, but they didn't get
I
him. They got
know.
Bagley, I believe.
Bagley's cool, man. I just feel bad for
Is
him,
he?
man. Yeah, he's injury riddled. He came in the
Yeah.
draft, with Luka Doncic and Trey Young. Sacramento at the time who drafted him, they weren't doing anything, so he kind of got lost in the shuffle, man. But every time I see him play, he's very productive. He's gonna give you at least 10 rebounds, probably 10 points, and like maybe 14, 16 minutes when he's healthy. So I'm not mad at that. I really can't add on to your answer except that I like Bobby Portis because he looks like Soldier Boy tell him. So yeah, man.
Yo, crazy eyes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
crazy eyes. We are in agreement. I have Bobby Portis as well. So good stuff,
I
man.
got one right.
It's no right or wrong answers,
Sure
bro.
it
Come
is.
on. All right, next we have the most improved player, and the candidates are Jalen Brunson from the New York Knicks, Shai Gilgis Alexander. I'm sorry, Shea Gilgis Alexander. Every time I say his name, I think about Shai. The very first time that I saw you.
That's yeah.
If I didn't they spell their name Shai too?
Yes, they
Shy.
did.
Donnie don't know. He's probably 4 years old when them boys came out, man. But anyway, though,
I
yeah.
got the internet.
True, true, true. And that is nostalgia, back in the day.
Legit.
So
Hello, After School Special Podcast.
there you go. So yeah, the Jalen Brunson from the Knicks, Shea Gilgis Alexander, OKC, and Laurie Markin in Utah. Ooh.
I got Shay, and the reasons because of what I said prior of OKC just scratching the surface and almost making the playoffs. I think he single-handedly put that team on his back for a large amount of the seasons, and like I said, no one saw that team coming. And it's one thing to get stats on a bad team, but to also put a team on your back when you weren't really expected to do that, and to almost get them into the playoffs where nobody had you going. My hat's off to that guy. I'm going to give it to Shea Alexander. Did I say
Mhm.
that name right?
Yeah, you said, man, good stuff, man. Shea Gilgis
Woo!
Alexander. All right, so why are you on fire? What's my man's name from the Miami Dolphins, the quarterback? What's his name? That always had concussions. How you say?
Oh no, you want to go down that road? Tua Tagovailoa. Ah, Jesus. Tua Tagovailoa.
You
Mother
gotta
Hooter,
stay
Hooter
right.
Moses. I don't know. Shit. Tuna.
See, you gotta stay ready so you don't have to get ready. No, I'm playing, man. No, you
Tua
you
Tagovailoa. Tua
by
Tagovailoa.
bada bing, bada boom. You nailed it, man. I love it. I love it. Yes, sir. So I love Shay, man. He's my fits player of the year. Like his outfits are awesome. They're amazing. They're immaculate. He went viral for wearing the big red boots, the Mario boots. You see what I'm saying? So I love
Yeah.
Shay. He came out of nowhere. He had like 30 points a game. And I was struggling with this. I know last year or maybe 2 years ago, they gave the award to John Morant. I'm like, well, John, the year before, he averaged like 18, 19 points a game. He was like a lottery
Yeah.
pick, top 5 pick and everything. I kind of felt like he should be absolved, or he shouldn't be eligible to win that award. I feel like most improved players are like late first round picks, free agents, undrafted picks, second round picks, and everything. So they kind of set the precedence by naming John Morant. So I feel like Shea is kind of under that same umbrella. Top 5 pick, lottery pick. He's averaged 20 points a game before, but he did make a dramatic improvement. I think he averaged like 30 points a game this year. But I'll keep
31.4.
sheesh. And
But
he's like,
from a year ago, he was averaging 24.5. But that's still a big leap, though.
it
That's like
is.
going from like a Middleton level, second
Mm-hmm.
player on the good on a good team level to
Mm-hmm.
the guy, like
Mm-hmm.
number one.
Mm-hmm.
Which is going
And
to be
that
interesting, like when Chet Holmgren comes next season. Like who's going to be number one? It's going to be his team, right? Not
I said,
Chet, but
yeah,
Shea.
Shay. Yeah, 100%. It's definitely
Yeah.
Shay's team. 100%. Nah, so who do I have for most improved? I picked
And not to
Jalen.
mention, this guy shot
Mm,
90% from free throws this year, and
he
that's
was
up from
clutch.
that's up from 81%. I don't think I've ever seen that before
No, which
in
is
the
still
NBA.
good. No, me neither. I've never
Not in
seen
your like
improvement like that.
6
Mm-mm.
years in the league. That's crazy.
Well, not for free throw percentage. Like in terms of like you dropped the 24 and a half points to 31 this year. That's like a 7 point improvement. I think when Ja won it, he improved from like 19 a game to 27 a game. So that's why I think, to your point, Shea might get it. But I have Jalen Brunson from the New York Knicks. And it's mostly because I see where the Dallas Mavericks are. Last year when the Mavericks had
Well,
well, let me finish. Let me finish. When they had Jalen Brunson, they made it to the conference finals. They did their thing. But I guess they kind of brushed him off like, he's not flashy. He's not uber athletic. He's not like I guess box office or star power, so they chose to let him go. He goes to the Knicks. He signs a free agent deal. He revives that program, that organization. He has them in the playoffs this year. He led the team, or top two in points, and he made a dramatic improvement from his PPG. I think he did like 15 points a game last year. He's up to like 23, 24, and he was an all-star snub. So I got Jalen Brunson, man. He's like the I don't know, the engine of the team, the straw that stirs that drink, in my opinion.
And Jalen Brunson had a lot to prove because Dallas, they like you said, they dragged their feet during that whole last season of his contract. They didn't reel
Mm-hmm.
up, and
Mm-hmm.
then once he showed out in the playoffs, then they offered him like a decent deal. But at that point, yeah, he was already one foot out the door. You got
Exactly.
Dallas has had a history of that. They let people go like Steve Nash. They let people go like they just do that. I don't know. I don't understand
Mm-hmm.
what
Mm-hmm.
Mark Cuban does in that situation.
I mean,
But
he is the common denominator. So great point,
yeah.
man.
Oh, and Jalen Brunson is no, that's a great pick, by the way.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. And to your point too, like Steve Nash was a great point. I mean, in so many ways, he let Porzingis go, man. So you got to ask, like,
Wait,
who's I don't know, but he's still a name player, though. He's better than what they have. I guess better than Powell or better than Kleba. He can
well,
still
not
give
only
you.
that, but they let in a cancer like Mr. Kyrie Irving, which I don't understand, man. I know there were reports that your boy, damn, I can't think of his name right now.
Hmm.
The was it who's the star on the Dallas team? Doncic, Luka
Hmm.
Doncic. That he had some personal issues that he was dealing with too. That kind of grounded him to a halt, where he didn't play with the same enthusiasm. But it
Hmm.
just seemed so I don't know predictable that when
Hmm.
Kyrie came, somehow that's when they begin to descend, and then it
Hmm.
culminated with sitting 5 starters at the end of the season when you had a chance to
Hmm.
get into the playoffs. Like, if I was a fan of the Dallas Mavericks, I would be furious, furious.
Hmm.
But yeah, Jalen Brunson with all that pressure coming into New York and hearing the outside noise of him not being a good number two, or they pay too much, or New York is where you go to die
Hmm.
professionally.
Hmm.
He took on that challenge, and like you said, not only came in and performed, but did what, for example, a Kyrie didn't do, is like,
Hmm.
took on the pressure and also made players better on the team
Hmm.
and got them
No,
to believe.
no, that's 100% fact. I mean, those are great points. Well, number one, I need to get my dictionary. Descend, culminated. Boy, that boy's smart. Got the big SAT words out and everything. That's number one.
After
But
school podcast.
I agree with that, man. I just feel like Luka Doncic in so many ways is like Allen Iverson, not in terms of like style of play,
Mhm.
but Iverson was most successful when in 2001 when he took those Sixers to the NBA Finals. I mean, it was just Allen Iverson and a whole bunch of like NBA parts. And that was good. That's what Iverson needed. You know what I'm saying? You guys do the dirty work and just put the offensive pressure and load on me. And I feel like that was kind of like a team that Luca had last year. You just had a lot of parts that complemented Luca. But once you get a superstar player, it's like, it's like smart people. They love being the smartest person in the room. When you get somebody else smart in the room, they feel kind of not intimidated, but it's like not all the eyes are on them. They got to share that attention. So maybe, Lucas and Kyrie giving you 30 a game, he's kind of like
For
soaking
the
up
record, he didn't blame Kyrie, and he
at
didn't
all.
like, no, not at all.
Mhm.
Not
He
at
said
all.
he enjoyed playing with him. That's a good point, man. And I really can't blame Kyrie. So to your point, I mean, historically, you can say that Kyrie was the cancer of his teams, and the facts are the facts. Teams that he's on when he leaves them, they get better the next year, man. But I feel like He was a good guy this year. Um, uh, no problems, no issues. Look at his numbers. He gave you 30 a game, 5 assists, 5 rebounds. So I'm not mad at Kyrie. And the players it took to acquire Kyrie is another reason why they probably didn't play that well. I said that Lucas, like Allen Iverson, you need like other parts around him to complement him. Well, those parts that complemented him and did the dirty work, you traded them, you know what I'm saying, to Brooklyn, to other places, man. So it's like, I
And there's
don't
no
know.
guarantee Kyrie's going to come back, right?
It's no guarantee, man, but you don't see too many teams. See, Kyrie requested a trade so he can get that bag. He can get that money. The
Right.
Brooklyn Nets were on like a let's wait and see approach, and Kyrie wasn't having that, man. So he said, let me go somewhere else and audition, try to get a team in the playoffs and prove that I can get this money. I mean, I'm not a cancer to use your term and your words, man, but that didn't work because they didn't make the playoffs. So the thing that's saving Kyrie right now, I think financially, to your point, is that their best player, Luka Doncic, is advocating to have Kyrie there, man. But everybody's saying stuff, man. Well, then again, I was going to compare the Kyrie situation to like Lamar Jackson, like a great talent, but nobody's like reaching out for him. But there's other stipulations for why teams aren't, reaching out for Lamar Jackson. They're trying to like collude him and not give up 2 round picks, and they don't want to set the precedence of just giving players fully guaranteed contracts. So it's different reasons, but you still have
Well,
two
unlike
outstanding. Go
Kyrie,
ahead.
though, not to cut you
Mhm.
off, the
Yeah,
not
yeah.
the unlike like Lamar. I mean, like
Mhm.
Lamar, it did a little bit of a Kyrie at the end where the Baltimore Ravens said or making like a noise, kind of like very whispered that that's the type of injury that Lamar had that he could play with, even though he would have been like 70 to 80%. But nobody
Mhm.
before that really questioned if Lamar wanted to play. Now Kyrie, on the other hand, the brother just don't want to show up for work. Like he's like me. I don't feel like doing this. Just pay me to sit at home, brother. Do this podcast.
You ain't lying.
And I respect that. Like as a person, I respect your right to not want to do anything you don't
Right
want
to
to
be
do.
lazy. Hell yeah.
I can call him lazy.
Hmm.
There's one thing to be good at a job, then there's another thing to love your job. And it just seems like
Mm.
he's just very good at the thing that he doesn't really want to do at this time. It's a
Wow.
distraction to him.
Wow.
But that's
Wow.
what you get from After School Special Podcast. You get strong takes like that you've heard in other places. Back to you, Mike.
Well, okay, let's move right on. We spent a lot of time on the most improved. We got 2 more awards to go to. Next is the Rookie of the Year,
Ooh.
and who I know who are the candidates. And shout out to Laurie Marketing too, though, for most improved. Man, he did his thing, man. From the Utah Jazz, he really did. For Rookie of the Year, the candidates are Paolo Banchero from the Orlando Magic, Walker Kessler from the Utah Jazz, and Jalen Williams. They have 2 players named Jalen Williams on their team for the
Yes,
OKC. Yeah, for
and
the
they're not related.
OKC at all. That's crazy. So yeah, Paolo Banchero, Walker Kessler, and Jalen Williams. Who you got?
Paulo Vaquero. Like that's because they moved up to get him, right? Or it was
Mhm.
draft day. So he
They
played my
did move up. They did move up. It just landed in their lap.
that's right. That's right. That's right. But I was very impressed by that guy. I saw him a little bit in college and I didn't think it was going to translate that fast for him because usually people who are that size, it takes them a minute. But I would give it to him because I can see the potential of him just exploding in the next 2 or 3 years. Like, would
Mhm.
you agree, or do you think he was just playing good on a bad team? Because that happens too.
100%. Nah, I agree with you, man. He's gonna make a exponential jump even next year. I think we can
Yeah.
expect him to average at least 25, 27 a game next year. I think he did like 21. I
Mhm.
love Paulo. I mean, and I saw it at the end of his Duke career. He just has an NBA ready body. Like, dude is
Yeah.
tall, he's big, he has fundamentals, he can shoot, he has handles. He's not afraid of the moment, he's aggressive. He's a good player. He's smart, cerebral. I mean, I like everything about Paulo. He doesn't back
Yes.
down. I remember when he's from Seattle. I remember his fellow Washingtonian, um, Dejounte Murray, kind of like test him in these little summer league games. He didn't back down. They were going back and forth, man. So I rock with Paulo the long way. So I'm with you. Rookie of the year is Paulo Banquero. Yeah, here we go. Okay, now lastly, no, I'm sorry. Next to last, defensive player of the year. We got quite the candidates. Uh, Jaren Jackson Jr. from the Memphis Grizzlies, Brooke Lopez from the Milwaukee Bucks, or Evan Mobley from the Cleveland Cavaliers.
Ooh, well, I'm going Jaren Jackson. Like the way
Mm-hmm.
he just changed the shots.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he's pretty much the only one on that team, the only player on that team can
Mm-hmm.
affect the game without scoring. And he's been doing it all year, especially with his blocks and intimidating people at the rim. But he's also agile and can get out on the break. He's long, his strength. Like they're going to really, Memphis is really going to depend on him
Mm-hmm.
in the playoffs, even though I don't think they're going to go pretty far, but it's not going to go it's not going to be because of him, but he's been my defensive player all year.
Wow. Yeah, I agree, man. He definitely changes a lot of shots, man. He can switch.
Yeah.
He can play on the perimeter and play in the paint. He changes
Yes.
shots, like I said. He's active. He's a good communicator. Kind of like another Michigan State Spartan, Draymond Green. Like he's coaching that
Yep.
defense like a middle linebacker, man. So I'm with you too, man. I have, let's see here. Let's see here. I have Jared Jackson Jr. as well. But I will say this, man. The game nowadays, it's like really played in the on the perimeter, man. You don't see like David Robinsons and Shaqs and Patrick
No.
Ewings, everything. People like patrolling the paint. The game's not played in the paint. It's not congested. You know, it's like five deep, drop and kick. So with that said, I feel like the premium and the emphasis on defense is on the perimeter. You know what I'm saying?
100%. Yes.
Yeah. So with that said, I feel like cats like Luke Dort from the OKC Thunder should get some love. And really, I think Drew Holiday. I mean, like for me, even though I feel like Jaren Jackson will win, my
Mhm.
personal favorite I think is Drew Holiday. Because when you like going against Drew, he might not lock you up, but if you average at 25, you might get 17. If you do get those 25 points, you're gonna struggle for that, man. So Drew Holiday is personally my favorite defensive player.
Yes, the one man full court press. Like I think that's been underrated and undervalued because it's just so many threes are just being made that
Mm-hmm.
we had so many players that hit 50 points this year. And
Mm-hmm.
it's just they the rules have dictated that the guards just can't guard like they used to. And
All right.
it's not that they're getting exposed, but these players are just too fast and too athletic for anyone one on one to like guard. It's too many pick and rolls. There's too many of that. So I think maybe that's why the guard defensive play has been devalued. And I think overall, if you can run the court and guard the perimeter and communicate, like you said, I think that's why I gave it to Jared Jackson because there's
Mm-hmm.
really nobody like that on that team and in the league to do what he's been doing this year. But there's been like flashes of players doing that, but I think he's just been the most consistent this year. That's why I gave it to him.
Facts, I agree. And last but not least, MVP. Who do you have, my guy? We have Joel Embiid, Giannis Antetokounmpo, and Nikola Jokic, the Joker from Denver. So Giannis, Greek Freak, the process, Embiid, and the Joker, Jokic. Who do you have?
It's crazy. It's been like over the last several years, the reign of like the big men and Joel Embiid is the first big man to score over 30 since was it McAdoo, I believe.
Wow,
And
wow. The stats, the big stats, Big Don. I like that. Good call.
as
Mm-hmm.
a special podcast, we got stats. Yes, I believe like because for years and years and years, it's always been like guard, like small forward guard, little man, uh, getting these MVP at least nominations. But now it seems like the last 3 or 4 years it's been just straight up big man, and it kind of reminds me of the NFL where it was like running backs usually were always in contention for the MVP, and you had the quarterbacks win it, but at least they were nominated. But now it's like okay, quarterback, 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 and it kind of feels the same way with the NBA.
Mm-hmm.
But to answer your question, I'm giving it to Embiid. Just the simple fact that
Nice.
with all the pressure and all the noise that he has to hear about not winning and not being good enough and probably could have won it last year. I think he
Mm-hmm.
stepped it up even from that because even if he had the same year as last year, I would have been like, wow, he deserves to be
Yeah.
nominated. The fact that he
Yeah.
did better, I think
Mm-hmm.
he answered the call this year, and I think
Mm-hmm.
having a new sidekick with Harden to feed him the ball, that pick and roll game that they do is just lethal. And he's exploited every moment of that in every game. So
Yeah.
I'm giving it to Embiid. What about you?
That's a great breakdown, and again, for the majority of the reasons in which you displayed and articulated, I think the biggest point you made was the addition of James Harden. Like I
Yeah,
wasn't sure how they would coexist. James Harden is a 3-time scoring champion. He averaged 35 a game in Houston. Shout out to him for, I guess, sacrificing a lot of his offense, man. You know what I'm saying? To
his
def-
worst scoring since I think 2012. Like eight was
uh,
he averaged 18.2 a game? Like,
good call. All in
but
the
he's
name
leading the
of
league in assists though.
in assist though, yeah, all in the name of deferring to Joel Embiid. So that took a lot of sacrifice right there in humility. But to your point though, he did lead the league in assists. I think I read somewhere that James Harden's the only player in NBA history that had 3 scoring titles and 2 assist titles. You know what I'm saying? So
That's crazy.
that is crazy. Embiid is nice, man, and he probably is the most unstoppable player in terms of like physical domination in that paint. He's got a nice jumper. I think he shot over 50% from the field, 80% from the free throw line, or 85% from the free throw line, which is crazy. And you know what? I wish those so to your point though, I got Embiid as well. But they got like this little companies, websites like Second Spectrum and all these analytics sites and everything. I want somebody to go back and just project to see Shaquille O'Neal's statistics, his PPG, if he would have made, I don't know, 70% of his free throws. You know what I'm saying? Like, how many points did Shaq leave on the table? I'm talking about it was years. He averaged, you said, you know, uh, Embiid's like the first center to average 30 a game since what you said, Pettit or
Mac,
Thurman. Yeah, Bob McAdoo, exactly. I think he won like 3 scoring titles in a row. But it's been many years Shaq averaged 28, 29, 28,
yeah,
29, shooting like 52%, 50% from the free throw line. Like if Shaq is shooting like at least 70, not the 85 that Embiid is shooting, but like 70, he's averaging like 30 a game for like 5 years in a row. It's crazy.
more than that. Even if it was 60,
Mhm.
65%, I mean, it would have been like, yeah, another level, and he would have
Mhm.
totally like changed the whole stat history of the NBA.
Mhm.
Still a great player though.
That's good. All right, so let's recap. So out of the 7 awards, we agreed with 4 awards. We agreed with Sixth Man of the Year, Bobby Portis. We agreed with the Rookie of the Year, Paulo Banchero. We agreed with the Defensive Player of the Year, Jaren Jackson Jr. And we agreed with the MVP, Joel Embiid. Even though I think Joel will win, I think Giannis should get it, man. He's a
Yeah,
2-time MVP already. His stats
say
look
his
the
name.
same.
Say his last name.
Antetokounmpo.
Oh, you can say that. Okay.
But see,
Tua
and
Tagovailoa.
And I read somewhere that the African pronunciation, he says, is ante the gumbo, like gumbo, like jumbo gumbo. It's not kumbo. He pronounces kumbo. That's how the Africans pronounce it. But because he has Greek citizenship, whatever like that, he had to pronounce it the Greek way. So it's ante the kumpo. But he says it kumbo, like gumbo, whatever like that. So we got 4 out of the 7 awards correct. So let's move on to our playoff predictions. We gotta skate because the playoffs are going on right now. I think the first game just tipped not too long ago. So look, bro. In the first round, let's go to Eastern Conference. Let's see here. Who do we have, Doc? Uh, First round. Let's do Eastern Conference first. Milwaukee and Miami. Who do you have?
Dang, Caesars is giving what was it, minus 1,000 for them to win? Oh man, I'm gonna go with rapid. If we're doing rapid fire, I'm gonna go Milwaukee Bucks.
Nice,
Sorry, he
Milwaukee.
culture. Yeah,
Okay, all right. Cleveland. You how many games? Milwaukee and what?
I got him because I respect Hugh culture so much. I'm
Mhm.
going to give him a game. It's going to be a gentleman's sweep
Okay,
for
I
sure.
like that. So 5 games. Okay, Cleveland, New York, the 4 or 5 seed.
Donovan Mitchell has a lot to prove, and I think he's been quietly, well, not so quietly, dominant this year. I'm going to give
Mm-hmm.
it to Cleveland. That whole team has been severely underlooked, in my opinion. But
Mm-hmm.
Cleveland was going to go to the Eastern Conference Finals.
Oh wow! So you got Cleveland what 4 or 5?
I got him in 6.
6.
It's going to
Nice.
be a hard series because Brunson is going to be a difference maker. I just think
Mm-hmm.
Cleveland overall is a better defensive team.
Philly, Brooklyn.
I'm going to go with Philly. Brooklyn, I think, even though they probably play better as a team, no egos or anything like that, but
Mm-hmm.
I don't see them getting out of the first round.
So gentlemen sweep again, or just a regular sweep? 6 games. What we doing?
I got a sweep. It's just,
Okay,
yeah, it's just Nets don't have a true star. This is a league with stars.
no, that's a fact. Boston, Atlanta.
I got Boston. Atlanta's been mediocre all year, barely keeping up with being 500 or always at 500 for majority of the season. So yeah, it's going to be a sweep.
Man, to your point, I think I saw like a graph or some kind of like a graphic that said like in the last 26 games, like the Hawks are 13-13. They listed each game. It was like win, loss, win, loss, win, loss. Like that's the
Yes.
definition of mediocrity. Good call. All right, to the West Coast, West Coast, West Side, baby. We got Denver, Minnesota. Who we got?
Oh, this one's tough because I think for Minnesota to get into the playoffs the way they did
Mm-hmm.
after being kind of humiliated after giving away a lead in LA and having to lose that game, and Edwards playing probably his worst game as a professional. I think they successfully came back the next game, played great. They have some momentum. They have the win at their back right now, but I
Mm-hmm.
don't see them getting out of the first round. So I believe, yeah, it's going to be who's the other team? I'm sorry.
Denver, Minnesota.
Denver. I believe Nurkic. Probably he has a good case of being the MVP this year, but I
Mm-hmm.
believe, yeah, they're gonna win in 6 games.
And to the Jokic point, man, I feel like all the criticism about MVP fatigue and criticizing Jokic for averaging triple double, man. I feel like people kind of like talk Joker out of their MVP because for like the majority of the season
Yeah.
he was the MVP, and then everybody started hating this and to start like listening to the hate, man. So
Well, they started losing. Let's not forget about that. The last
true,
month and a half, they just started
good
losing and
call,
losing bad,
good
and
call.
they don't
Mm-hmm.
really have a lot of momentum, and that's why I gave Minnesota 2
Mm-hmm.
games. But I think
Mm-hmm.
overall, with
Mm-hmm.
Jurkic, his passing and Murray, I think, yeah, they're going to get past Minnesota, but it's not going to be easy though.
Okay. So then we have now Phoenix, LA.
No, is it Pheonix in
Yeah,
LA or is it? Oh, okay.
Phoenix, LA.
That's a school such a podcast. I don't know my stats. So I, oh, that's a tough matchup because very sneakily, because I had stopped paying attention to LA even after the trade deadline. I'm like, oh, okay, they're probably gonna
Mhm.
get into the play and lose. But very quietly, they've become a great defensive team, and I think they were like number 3 rated
Yeah.
coming in. And
Mhm.
I would say Durant is the difference maker in this because, as you know, Phoenix is undefeated since he's been there, and how many games he played, they were undefeated. So I'm going to give it to Phoenix. But if Phoenix loses, oh man, Chris Paul, uh, I think you're going to hear noise about him either potentially retiring or
Yeah,
Phoenix moving away from him. But I got
yeah.
them Phoenix in 6. I got him in 6 because
That's
AD is playing great.
He is playing great. That's a great point though you made about Chris Paul, man. I feel like this is his last chance, man, to really do something as a great player. I mean, I think this is his last year as a. I think last year was probably his last year in his prime, and this is the first year we
Oh
kind
yeah.
of saw him, yeah, play average, man. But yeah, this is his last great chance to win a ring, man. So he better do something now. Sacramento, Golden State.
Light the beam. Well,
Wow.
great story. Sacramento, love that team. De'Aaron
Mm-hmm.
Fox, like I said, is my it's is very, very, very explosive. Great guard play. I think they were what in the top 3, top 5 of offense efficiency.
Best all
But
time. I think they average like
that's
121 points a game, like the most since like the 70s or 80s.
oh, well, there you go. And see, Golden State has been terrible all year on the road. However, they're getting Andrew Wiggins back. He's been cleared. And I just think with the experience and the guard play of the Splash Brothers, Stephen Curry and my boy Thompson, I think it's going to be a great series, but I think they're going to ultimately win in 6.
Okay, nice. All right,
And that's giving a
Memphis.
lot of respect to Sacramento. I think they could win 2
Yeah.
games at home.
Mm-hmm. They just need fights in the playoffs, though. They don't have that experience. So yeah,
No,
I agree. All right, Memphis, LA.
I'm going. Oh, see, that's where I got confused. You said L.A. I thought you said meant the Clippers. That's what.
Uh-huh.
Oh my
Yeah.
goodness. So okay, I have L.A. actually.
The Lakers. Okay.
Yeah. So wait. Go back. Go
Phoenix,
back.
Phoenix and Clippers. Phoenix and
Oh,
Clippers.
good lord. Oh my god.
Mhm.
Now I feel like an idiot. You didn't hear me talk about AD? Yes. No. No.
I thought you were trying to make a transition. I thought you transitioning, or I thought you meant like 8 or something. I don't know, bro. I ain't want to cut you off, bro. You my special
End
guest.
of show. Let's start over. Oh my god. That's why I was
Ah,
rambling and stambling. Yeah. Oh my god. The Clippers. Yes. No. Phoenix
mm,
and I got well, still the same. 6.
yeah, it's like
Why is he always one step away from being injured at RPG? And PG's actually not even playing. So
at
no,
all.
that's a sweep. That's a sweep. What am I saying?
Yeah.
That's a
Whoa,
sweep.
snap. No love for Tyronn Lue. All right,
Yeah.
Jamaican Horn. No respect for Russell Westbrook or Tyronn Lue, nothing?
No.
For one game?
And
Okay.
no, that's no. And I have I have LA
Mm-hmm.
Lakers moving on from Memphis because you can't really have all that turmoil and not have it show up in the playoffs. And of course, I'm
Mm-hmm.
talking about Morant. And I think maturity and experience and efficiency has to show up in the playoffs. And I think right now LA is really hitting their stride. And like I said, they've
Mm-hmm.
been a really good defensive team after the All-Star break. And
Mm-hmm.
I believe LeBron, along with AD, they just going to figure it out because everything gets tight in the playoffs. And I just think, yeah, they just have what it takes. What about you?
Now these are facts. I'm gonna show you my Eastern Conference. So you have Milwaukee, Cleveland, Philly, Boston come out the first round of the East. This is my
Yeah.
first round prediction. Milwaukee, Cleveland, Philly, Boston. So we agree with that. And
Okay.
and then from the West, I have Denver, Phoenix, Golden State, Lakers. So we agree
Oh,
with that. And to let everybody know, we didn't confer, we didn't talk about or discuss our picks, anything like that. This just happened organically and naturally, man. So that's good stuff. So let's skip to the conference finals, and I'll go first, okay? Because
okay.
I want us to get us out of here in like 5 minutes, if that's okay, man. So for the Eastern Conference Finals, I have Milwaukee versus Boston. I have Milwaukee going to the finals. And then in the West, I have the Phoenix Suns and Golden State Warriors. Now, I can see the Lakers, going there and beating the Warriors maybe, but I don't know. Sentimentally, I want to see. I'll be fine with Phoenix in LA because I know Kevin Durant and LeBron James haven't played together against each other
Yeah,
on the court since like 2018. But we still haven't seen Kevin Durant return to Golden State to play as a player. So I really want to see that Phoenix Golden State matchup. So I got Phoenix Golden State in the Western Conference Finals. Who do you have in the Western Conference Finals?
honestly, I agree. Yeah, Phoenix and
Okay.
Golden State, and
Mm-hmm.
partly because I want to see Durant return to Golden State and
Mm-hmm.
play the Splash Brothers and prove that even though he made a horrible decision following some guy to Brooklyn, that
Loyal to a
he's
fault.
still,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, and he's probably still the best player in the league.
Oh yeah, I mean, I looked at his numbers. He didn't qualify because he didn't play enough games. But this dude averaged 29 points a game, 55% field goal shooting, 40% 3-point shooting, and like over 90% from like the free throw line. So not only did he
In
give you 50,
a
40,
normal year.
90, yeah, hey, exactly. Because no, that's not you're not being facetious. Because I looked at his career numbers. He's averaging damn near 50, 40, 90 for his career, the most efficient player of all time. So I definitely agree with that. All right, who do you have for the Eastern Conference Finals? Like I said, I
I
have
actually
Milwaukee
have
Boston.
Milwaukee and Boston too. I want to put Philly in there.
Okay.
I'm just not sold on Harden. I just don't know what I'm going to get because playoff
Mm-hmm.
Harden is different from regular season Harden. Is he going
Mm-hmm.
to revert back to being well, not a selfish player, but a player that demands the ball and wants to prove to everybody, hey, no, I am a good playoff player. I can do this. Kind of like
Mm-hmm.
last year when he tried to do that, it didn't work out. And his stamina, he's kind of like Mike Tyson, to use a boxing analogy. Is like if you get him on a roll, he's great. But after a while, if things aren't going his way, I don't know what it is about the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
He I'm worried about them. So I
Mm-hmm.
agree with your assessment.
Good call. So for the finals, then I have Milwaukee and Golden State. How about
Wow.
you? Yeah, who do you have?
Oh, because before the year, I thought somehow, some way, I thought Boston with Tatum have just pooping the bed last finals was going to
Mm-hmm.
come back and prove that, you know, last year being in the finals was no fluke, especially with his head coach leaving in the way he did. But I agree. Antetokounmpo is just overwhelming in the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
And I think
Mm-hmm.
as long as he just goes to the hole and be as dominant as we know he can be, it's no
Mm-hmm.
stopping that. And Middleton, of course,
Mm-hmm.
Middleton is healthy, along
Mm-hmm.
with Bobby P, my sixth man of the year.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to make it. Golden State, of course, in the playoffs is just overwhelming. So yeah, I agree with this.
And it's so funny because I really had originally Milwaukee versus Phoenix in like the 2021 rematch, but I just don't think that Phoenix is deep enough. I mean, they're top heavy, Aiton, CP3, KD, and Book. That's great, man. But after that, they really don't have a team like that, man. I feel like Milwaukee's more well-rounded and more versatile and has better depth. So with that said, and I have Golden State, beating Phoenix because, like I said, they just have the experience, man. And I feel like Steph maybe hungrier to prove to KD that we didn't need you than KD is to, Golden State. So we're going to see. Now, who do you have winning the finals?
Who do I have? Well, I think experience matters, but both teams are experienced. I think Milwaukee, if just Middleton just can stay healthy, along with the defense,
Mm-hmm.
Bobby P, Holiday, and then of course Antetokounmpo. I
Mm-hmm.
think I think Golden State, this is probably their last year where they're going to be this dominant
Mm-hmm.
as far as like guard play is concerned. Because I just never know with Thompson what he's going to be from year to year. I know he's been pretty consistent as far as playing games, but I'm
Mm-hmm.
going to go with Milwaukee. I think
Mm-hmm.
Antetokounmpo was just too overwhelming.
Wow. So I have in 6 games, you're going to see your man Giannis Antetokounmpo raise the final trophy.
Oh
Uh,
wow, you agree? I thought you were going to say Golden State.
so
You know, you
listen,
light skinned brothers like to,
they stick together. But see,
yes.
I'm anti light skin though. I want to be the light skin dude to bring us back on the map. That's why I don't mess with Drake. He took my whole, you know what I'm saying, my dream. Like I was supposed to put us back on the map and show people how real a light skin is supposed to conduct themselves and be like just real player, not soft and sensitive and all that stuff, man. You know what I mean? So screw it. The only like light skin dude I'm rocking with right now is Steph and Book. That's it, man. But everybody else is me versus light skin, man. But I was gonna say I can see Lisa Salters presenting the MVP Finals trophy to Giannis. She's saying, Giannis, you won the MVP. Where you going now? Giannis gonna say, I'm going to Dicey World. He's gonna go to Dicey World. No, I'm sorry. In Giannis' voice, he's gonna say, I go to Dicey World. So he's gonna go to Dicey World or Disney World, man. I have the Milwaukee Bucks winning as well, man. The NBA champs, Milwaukee Bucks. And then we're gonna have a different conversation about Giannis. Is he gonna be like on your top 5? You know what I'm saying? Of all time. We're top 10 of all time. So you know what, man? Surprisingly, we agree because a lot of times we don't agree with a lot of stuff, man. But we got the same champions. We got 4 of the same awards for like the individual awards. We got the same conference finals and finals matchups. Man, this was good. I guess great minds think alike.
There you go.
Well, anyway, we're gonna go ahead and wrap this thing up, man. Like a burrito. I appreciate my main man, 50 grand, Double D, Don Dice from the After School Special Podcast for coming by. Don, you were truly amazing, man. You never cease to amaze me because I know how inundated and you're very committed to your craft, man. Anybody who knows you, they go to your podcast. I'm talking about from the audio to the visuals, everything is just perfect, man. Just perfect, perfect, perfect. So you put a lot of time to your craft. So for you to even know what the hell's going on in the sports world and like lend your time and your opinion is much appreciated, my brother. I appreciate you, Doc.
Salute to you, Dicey World. Everybody, like and subscribe. This guy is amazing. And I'm not just saying that because he paid me to. This is a wonderful podcast. Please rate and subscribe to this guy because he's on the come up, dog. He got the blow up.
Yeah, that's right. All right, guys. Till next time, feel free to comment. Did you agree with our picks? Am I sounding crazy? Is Donnie sounding crazy? Let us
Oh,
know.
I know I'm sounding crazy. I got the damn playoff thing wrong, and you let me go with it.
Playoffs. Oh, well, until next time, remember, boys and girls, anything can happen in Dicey World. Holla at your boy. We see you next time in a minute. Peace.
Peace.